Jeppet says, after not so good Expendables 3 ratings, is Patrick Hughes going to do the Raid remake right?
Man, this has got to raise some flags for people. Look, I think the reason people did not go out to see Expendables 3 has nothing to do with who was directing it. And I think they know that, and the producers of the Raid know that. I don't think that Expendables 3 is a particularly horrible movie. So, for me personally, it has done nothing to move my needle as far as the Raid remake goes. It has not made me any more excited for it, certainly. But it hasn't done anything to diminish my enthusiasm or my mediocre enthusiasm for it either. So, for me, no effect whatsoever. What about you guys?
I think this is for a little bit of a side note. I was actually, and obviously it wouldn't have impacted the box office at all, but I was actually disappointed that Simon West didn't do the third Expendables, because I love what he does with action, you know, with the mechanic and Con Air and stuff like that. And so when he didn't return, that turned me off a little bit. But I don't know. I haven't seen Expendables 3 yet, so I have to watch it and then judge from there.
I haven't seen Expendables 3 yet, but my feeling about the Raid remake is firm. I don't care about it. I think the Raid was already made. It was made a couple of years ago, and the Raid 2 is one of the most incredible action films I've seen all year, maybe of all time. The Raid 2, I don't need to see a remake this soon. I mean, if it was like 10 years from now, sure, but like, you know, let's learn how to read subtitles and get into the rest of the world. There's a whole world of movies, and the Raid and the Raid 2 are part of it. So
directed by Gareth Evans.
Yeah, an incredible job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do have to keep in mind, too, we live in a world of what is actually happening, not what should be happening. Should people have seen the Raid 2? Yes. Should people have seen the Raid 1? Yes. Did they see it? No.
I know.
Nobody has seen the Raid 2.
I'm still angry about it.
I mean, there's probably a good percentage of our viewers who have seen the Raid and the Raid 2, right? But next to nobody else has.
Right.
So I'm okay with the concept. Look, will this remake be as good as the original? Probably not. And that's me being optimistic by saying just probably not. But who cares? If it can bring that story and the Raid title and the Raid franchise to a North American audience, I guarantee this, it'll do the same thing that The Departed did for Infernal Affairs. I think just the production of this movie is going to turn some people on. It's like, oh, there were originals? Like Asian originals?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check that out. Happened in droves with Infernal Affairs.
Made people watch Ringu.
Yes.
Yeah. You know.
So it can do. I think it can do nothing but good things for doing what you're talking about. Get people to see those originals, and hopefully we'll get a half decent remake out of it too. Let's see what's next.
Daddy Warbucks wants to know, can a reboot like Ben-Hur of a multi-Oscar winning film win again for the same awards like Best Screenplay?
Well, from a technical point of view, yes, there's no rule against that. From a practical point of view, it's nearly impossible to win an Oscar. You know, 900 eligible films come out, one will win. So you already have a really finite opportunity to win. And then as a remake, can you win? Well, we just talked about The Departed. It was a remake and it won Best Picture. A remake of an old classic, that's a tall order, man. I wouldn't put money on it. It's a tall order. What do you guys think?
I'm with you. It's nearly impossible.
Nearly, yeah.
Because, The Departed was a remake of Infernal Affairs, but that was a foreign film. They remade it for America. This is remaking an American classic.
Yeah,
for
different story.
That everyone's already, most everyone's already seen, already heard of. So I think the chances are very, very tiny.
And on top of that, everyone who's part of the Oscars they're old enough to have seen Ben-Hur in the theater. So they're like, what's this, heresy of remake,
They're going to feel about remake the way you feel about the Raid remake.
Exactly.
I've already seen Ben-Hur.
I can't believe they're remaking Ben-Hur.
All right, what's next?
Yuri Corngreen says, what do you think about Doctor Strange film not being an origin film and that this strategy will continue in film Marvel future?
I say strategy that way all the time, actually. Well, if you heard me on Mailbag this weekend or the special I did, good. We don't need origin stories. You know, I talked about this about Guardians of the Galaxy. I'll just recap quick. Guess what? There was no origin story for Peter Quill, for Drax Destroyer, for Gamora, for Groot, for Rocket Raccoon, and yet we had a awesome movie, one of the best movies of the year. By just bringing, all we know about the background of Rocket is one 30-second piece of dialogue saying, he's a product of genetic mutation. And then him saying on the side, I didn't ask to be torn apart and put back together again. That's all we knew.
Right.
You can do it. You can. And what I said on Mailbag this week is like, look, if you gave me a choice, say, John, next month, DC, we can snap our fingers and have DC release a brand new Wonder Woman Origins movie, in which I'd go, oh, yeah, that sounds good. Or, John, they could give you a Wonder Woman movie in which she's already established, not an origin story, and she's going to be going up against Ares. Well, sign me up for that one.
Yes.
I don't want the origin one.
Yeah.
Give me that one where we
Right.
just, and then use a 1 or 2 minute scene where she talks about, you know, the island, and she talks about the Amazonians, she talks about her birthright and all that kind of stuff, and then we're good to go.
Yep.
So I'm good with that. What do you guys think?
I love that idea. I'm a big proponent. I was hoping that, you know, future Marvel films, whether they're Fox or Sony or whatever, they could just encapsulate that if they're rebooting things. I've always been a big fan in my mind of seeing like the Fantastic Four origin done in the title sequence and just get to it. Doctor Strange, I mean, look at Doctor Strange and compare it maybe into the same world of something like The Conjuring. Now remember, those two people were like, hey, we've already been doing this, we've been investigating stuff, you got the whole story with the little doll, you had little flashbacks of things that affected her, like I can't deal with that again. You could do the same thing with Doctor Strange. He's bam, he's fighting Nightmare in the first 5 minutes of that film. Someone else is going to him for help, because that's how Doctor Strange used to work in the old days. It was like people would go to him like, I can't, there's something wrong with it. Oh, there's a creature inside your brain. You know, he goes into your brain, you know. It's like, I mean, it's all crazy, psycho, you know, Ditko, I'm inside another dimension, swirl-a-thon. I want to see that. I don't want to be wasting time with him being a surgeon and being in a car crash and climbing a mountain. That's an hour, folks.
My hands don't work the way they used to.
Well, maybe if you trained for another 30 minutes. No, no. So I'm really excited about that news. It makes me extra excited. I love Doctor Strange.
I don't mind origin stories, but you don't have to tell them if they don't warrant it. And you can also do stuff either in flashbacks or just reference stuff, you know? I mean, you had Wolverine in the X-Men movies until his like solo film. They kind of just hinted at what his backstory was, but they didn't show it until...
They did show the visual flashbacks of him inside that getting injected. You're like, what's
and then they made the solo film of his origins, and that was terrible. So, you know.
And properly speaking, the original Thor technically wasn't an origin. He was already Thor by the time they started that movie. Already an esteemed warrior of the Asgardians and blah, blah, blah. He already had the hammer here. I mean, so, yeah, it can work. And I think Doctor Strange, and remember, in Captain America 2, the guy on the roof, this is a little bit of a spoiler if you haven't seen it, he says, yeah, we're targeting Tony Stark, Stephen Strange. Okay, so by him saying that on the roof, what that is saying is that Stephen Strange is already special, and that by just dropping his name like that, it's assumed that those people that he's talking to already know the name Stephen Strange, so they're already kind of setting it up that he's already established. So I kind of like.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.